Another temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is about to open for public tours.
The Linden Temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is opening this week for public tours.
Yeah, News Special's Daniel Woodruff taking a tour of his own this morning. Joins us live right now with what visitors can expect. Daniel?
Yeah, there will be a public open house here at the Linden Temple beginning on Thursday and lasting for about a month. As you mentioned earlier today, we had the chance to walk through this temple and take a tour with some other reporters. This temple is located near 800 East and Center Street in Linden. The temple interior design, as we saw, features the linden flower throughout the building on stained glass, rugs, and elsewhere. That flower, interestingly, I didn't know this, is actually what sparked the city's name back in the day, even though it has a slightly different spelling than the current name of the city. This temple also has 2 baptismal fonts where members of the church perform what are known as baptisms for the dead, one of several sacred ordinances that take place inside temples.
Youth all over Utah County, frankly, all over the Wasatch Front, have just been so eager to have this chance to come in and participate in ordinances, and so this will give them an opportunity, and frankly, for all of our saints here to be able to easily make the temple part of their regular daily worship is a wonderful thing.
The Linden Temple will be the 23rd operating temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Utah. 5 others in the state are being renovated or are under construction, while 4 others have been announced. So the open house here at the Linden Temple will begin on Thursday and run through Saturday, April 11th. Every week from Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. with a couple exceptions. You can see more on the church's website if you want to go check that out. Reservations to attend the open house are not required. It is open to anybody in the public. Daniel Woodruff, live at 5.
Looks beautiful. Daniel, thank you. Uber is...
Sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. A public open house about to begin at the new Linden Temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. News specialist Daniel Woodruff, live for us in Utah County, where he took a tour of the temple himself. It's beautiful, Daniel.
Yeah, Mike, it really is. We had a chance this morning to walk through the temple all throughout the building during a media tour. Anybody from the public can go through it starting on Thursday.
It just sits up on this hill, and it just is a reminder of just goodness to me and beauty and peace.
Dana Daly says the new Linden Temple feels special, situated right in this residential neighborhood.
It's really neat to kind of have that community feel.
The temple was announced in late 2020. Now it's about to be dedicated. But first, a month-long public open house where people can see it for themselves.
It's a beautiful temple. The stained glass is beautiful. The finishings are beautiful. We're trying to build something that we believe is the house of the Lord, and so we want to build something with quality and beauty.
Elder James Rasband points out this temple has 2 baptismal fonts, where members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints perform an ordinance known as baptism for the dead. The temple design also has features unique to the area.
The flowers that are built into the motif of the temple are buds and the blossom of the linden tree, after which this town of Linden was named.
They're planning on about 1,000 people per day to come through the public open house. And so to have it be open for 30 days and just to get the amount of people to come through, to me is like community building and just everybody coming together to see a beautiful place.
The Linden Temple open house will run through Saturday, April 11th, Monday through Saturday, generally with a few exceptions. You can check out the church's website. 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. visitors can go through. And in this particular open house, reservations are not required. Back to you.
Double baptismal fonts. That's a big, big deal. All right. Thank you much. Appreciate it, Daniel.
Utahns continue.
To others.
And I went through a real ugly moment here last week.
He paints portraits of departed loved ones to help families cope with their loss. Last week, he suffered a loss himself at the hands of a killer in Wayne County. How he's dealing with his pain by helping others.
And getting billed for somebody else's tickets. Matt Gephardt shows us how selling your car could cost you and how to avoid it.
Live and streaming. This is KSL News at 10.
Good evening.
Appreciate that, Sarah. Developing news coming out of Roy. Police arresting a man accused of shooting and killing somebody else while the two were doing quick draw drills. This was the scene last night at an apartment complex near 4600 South, 1900 West. Arresting documents say Benjamin Davis believed that his firearm was unloaded, but admitted to pointing it at the victim and pulling the trigger. The victim was hit by a bullet, taken to the hospital, and later on passing away. Davis is now facing a manslaughter charge.
Today in the Corey Richens, a popular Utah artist is hoping to bring comfort to the family of one of those women, the one killed in Lyman. News specialist Dan Rascone is covering this story and joins us live. Dan, Lyman, Utah is like a second home to this artist.
It really is. You know, J.R. Johansson may live in northern Utah right now, but he grew up outside of Lyman, Utah, there, that small town where tragedy struck just last week. He says hopefully this portrait will bring some comfort to a family that has lost so much.
I always play spiritual type music when I'm painting someone who's passed away.
In his backyard studio, J.R. Johansson,
I have painted hundreds of people who have passed away.
Is working on yet another portrait, but this one is personal.
I'm working on the portrait of Margaret. She was the one that lost her life last week, was murdered.
86-year-old Margaret Oldroyd, one of 3 women tragically murdered in a horrific crime in Wayne County. Margaret was shot and killed at her home in Lyman. The other 2 women were shot and killed while on a hike not far away.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
J.R. grew up just outside of Lyman and knows the community and the people very well.
I just couldn't believe that somebody would come into that little beautiful town and kill an elderly lady. I feel like I have been wounded because I've lost friends. I feel so sorry for the family. I can't even begin to imagine what they're going through.
But hopefully, somehow, this will help ease some of the pain.
I'm just hoping that this will bring them comfort somehow.
J.R. is hoping to deliver that portrait during the funeral, and also he says that during the time that he delivers those portraits, it's always a very tender and emotional time when they see the artwork for the very first time. Deanie, back to you.
Dan, you've shown us how his talents have brought comfort to so many families. Thank you.
Yeah.
New tonight, West Valley firefighters.
Last coming up in the forecast.
All right, we want to see that. Kevin, thank you. When you sell or trade in your old car, you think you're done with it, right? Not for a West Valley man.
I ended up getting a letter from a collection agency saying, hey, you owe a bunch of money now.
Coming up, Matt Gephardt shows us how selling your car could end up with you paying for someone else's bad driving and what to do about it. If you sell or trade in your car, are you responsible for what the next driver does?
Great question. Utah man's being told that he needs to pay a parking ticket for a car that he simply does not own. When the city sent him to collections, he decided, guess what? It's time to get Gephardt to investigate this thing. Matt?
Mike, this comes up more often than you might think. I have certainly reported on it before. There is a crucial step that you might not know about that could keep you from being on the hook for somebody else's citation.
When Jake Hampton bought this car, he traded in his old one. Months later, something unexpected showed up in the mail.
Parking ticket in Las Vegas.
That's right. Take a look at the citation. Jake's old car made its way to Sin City, where a driver committed the sin of illegally parking it in an alley behind a casino. It's an infraction that comes with a penalty of $50.
I tried to get a hold of Las Vegas Parking, show him my contract.
Jake says he was told the car is still registered to him, so he needed to prove that he didn't owe the ticket. He was instructed to email a copy of his sales contract, which he says he did.
I thought it was done and over with, and this week I ended up getting a letter from a collection agency saying, hey, you owe a bunch of money now.
Fees have now pushed the amount owed north of $100. And Jake says when he calls the collection agency, they hang up on him.
I would honestly like to get this gone because it's not a big deal to pay it, but why should I have to pay for something that I didn't do?
Jake asked me to investigate. The KSL investigators reached out to the collection agency on Jake's behalf. They did not respond. So we reached out to the city of Las Vegas. Their spokesperson did respond, stating in an email that they never got Jake's bill of sale, but that if he would send it or send it again, they can re-review it.
Now, this is not the first time I have reported on somebody selling their car in this state and then down the road being hit with a hassle.
From minor traffic infractions like parking tickets to more serious crimes like speeding or running a red light if your former car is caught on a traffic camera. Sellers have even been sued for not properly maintaining a car that's involved in a crash that they no longer own. When parking enforcement writes a ticket, they note the VIN. That's the vehicle's identification number. The number lives in government databases and points back to whoever most recently registered the car. So if the car is sold but the new buyer doesn't register it, the VIN would point back to the previous owner. It happens quite a bit when a car is sold person to person, but in Jake's case, the car was sold to a dealership. This dealership, Salt Lake Mitsubishi.
It does happen.
Carlos Ojeda is the GM here.
Every time I've ever bought a car from a dealership, you all have registered it for me before I even driven it off the lot. Mm-hmm. Is that the way it always works?
Not always.
Indeed, there are different ways that cars are sold. Jake's was what's called a tax and tow. It wasn't driven away, it was towed away. It's a type of sale that's fairly common with people buying cars online, especially when somebody buys a car in one state but plans to register it in a different state.
Then the customer is responsible to complete the registration.
Ojeda says he is happy that we are doing this story because there is an easy step that many car sellers forget to take. No, not removing the license plate. Most of us remember to do that. What we forget is to tell the DMV. On its website, Utah lets sellers declare that they have sold their car and unregister it.
And this is something that onus of this is on the person getting rid of the car.
Correct. Yeah, because we can't cancel somebody's registration for them. I'm sure that'd open up a whole different can of worms.
As for Jake's can of worms, well, a vehicle history report shows that the car was re-registered in southern Utah about 2 weeks after it got that ticket in Vegas. And Jake says he was able to reconnect with Vegas's parking enforcement, and the city spokesperson tells me the ticket has been passed on to the new owner of the car.
All right, so the takeaway from all of this, if you're selling your car privately, you need to give the buyer the signed title, the bill of sale, the current registration, and remove the plates. But also, don't forget to notify the DMV. That way, if anything happens with your old car somewhere down the road, hopefully it won't come back to haunt you. Guys.
Matt, it's great to have you solving situations here on U.S. soil as opposed to Italy.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back, my friend.
Kevin, it would appear our temperatures are... The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is getting ready to welcome people inside the newly finished Linden Temple. The three-story building features the linden flower throughout on things like rugs and stained glass. That flower is actually what sparked the city's name.
Yeah, the open house starts on Thursday. It's going to run through April 11th. Reservations not required, and it's open to anyone. There are 2 baptismal fonts in that one, so unique.
So pretty.
Yep.
And look at this. This is gorgeous. Michelangelo's